Hello, everyone. This is the United States History Weekly Review from March 15th to March 19th. At the beginning of the week, we watched a video and examined a reading on the life, experiences, and Supreme Court case of Fred Korematsu. This ties in with the Japanese internment, the issue of the Japanese internment that we've discussed in class previously. We then discussed some questions such as what dangers were government officials worried about when they implemented Executive Order 9066? What constitutional rights were suspended for Japanese Americans under the government's claim of military necessity? And was the action appropriate to the danger? Again, we focused also on deciding if these questions were closed ended or open ended questions, and we've been working on that skill for a few weeks now. We worked together on the level 1 formative assessment. We connected a historic theme to the various items from World War II that we have been examining in class. We also discussed turning points, events, consequences, and people within those items as well. Our 4-class focus continued to be respect, being engaged in class, emphasizing the benefits and satisfaction of learning, and attempting to complete work in a timely fashion. We reviewed previous responses to exit tickets and then conducted an exit ticket asking students to reflect on their learning and how respectful they were over the past few weeks. We will be moving on to a new executive functioning skill next week. We also watched a video about Rosie the Riveter, and we read a short passage and analyzed some images of women in changing roles at home during World War II. We reviewed some comprehension, closed-ended questions, as well as some historical reasoning, open-ended questions about the images as well as the reading passage. Later in the week, the level 2 and 3 formative was introduced to students. We went over the first graphic organizer on the Holocaust together. Then students were asked to explore the other 2 graphic organizers on the Japanese internment and women's role during World War II independently, basically coming up with important who, what, where, and when, what historical themes connected to these various issues and incidents, and also talked about turning points. That, again, turning points reflecting a change that occurred because of these items or incidents during the history of World War II. I introduced the World War II summative on Thursday and Friday. It's a combination of analyzing and critiquing historical themes and eras, as well as using the question formulation technique. Students are asked to break down the era of World War II into events, turning points, people, etc., and then creating closed-ended and open-ended questions, and then, here's the important point, answering the questions that they produced as well. We've been working on the skill of creating the questions. Now it's a point of answering the questions that you produce as well. What's coming up next? We will continue working on the World War II era formative and summative assessments during the course of next week, but we will also begin working on our next unit, which is the Cold War. Our indicator will ask students to analyze and critique varying interpretations of historic people, issues, or events, and explain how evidence is used to support different interpretations. Again, that will all have to do with the Cold War. And we'll be also working on a new executive functioning skill, effective communication. That's it for now. Take care.